както знаете, всеки път го правим на английски, защото от време на време имам по някой друг англоговорящ, so I'll just switch in English. Who doesn't speak Bulgarian, by the way? More than usual, so yeah. This becomes a regular English-speaking event. So this is Sofia Crypto Meetup number 30, which basically means that 30 months in a row we've been doing that event, and today we invited established fintech player Paysafe, which is actually the biggest fintech company in Europe, about 3 billion in market cap, who have their R&D center in Bulgaria, and they're actually experimenting a lot with crypto wallets and things like that, and Yasen, who is one of the main technology leaders in the company, will speak in a bit. Before that, Vlad, as every month, will present basically what happened in crypto, so sort of a report what happened, what were the more interesting news in the last month. And we also invited Yankov, who is gonna tell you a little bit about an event which is happening in Sofia in a month. Guys, okay, so what if you want to just start? Thanks for coming.
All right, thank you, Ivo, for the short introduction. So as we usually do, we have this poll in Facebook where everybody can vote for the most interesting stories in August. Unfortunately, actually, Facebook changed the rules for the polls, and now I cannot create a poll in the group, which allows anyone to add an option. So from next time, maybe I'll need to think of something new, not using Facebook polls, because otherwise somebody needs to do a comment, and then I need to copy paste that comment in an option, as an option in the poll. It's kind of confusing. But this is the poll that we had this month in August. More or less, all of the topics, apart from the last one, are financial related to topics. And I'll go through the first three now. Maybe I think there are some Bitcoin Cash supporters. If they want to, oh yes, we have the Meetup organizer for the Bitcoin Cash group. Maybe he can shortly present Bitcoin Cash tokens, or just say a few words after I'm done. But yeah, I'll be focusing on the first three things. So the first one is the one-day BTC futures that are going to be introduced by ICE, which is the Intercontinental Exchange, which is actually the owner and the parent of the New York Stock Exchange. It's one of the largest players when it comes to trading everything, basically. And they're introducing this ecosystem for cryptocurrencies called Backed. And the interesting thing is that it's all of the deals on the Backed system will be physically settled. And when I heard this, that it's going to be physically settled, which means that actual Bitcoins will change hands, for me it was a very good signal. I was kind of happy about this. But then it turns out that there are some negative sides. But this is on the next slide. The first slide is what is the good thing. So the good thing, obviously, is that the largest platform or the largest exchange, the largest company that manages exchanges, is going into cryptocurrencies, and it's going to allow for institutional investors to go into cryptocurrencies as well, which is opening the market of cryptocurrencies to a huge market, to actually world-class exchange and capitals. Also, it would provide a qualified custodian, and custodian is someone who is holding the Bitcoins or the cryptocurrencies for somebody else. And this is a very important requirement by the Security and Exchange Commission when they are deciding on different, let's say, financial products, derivatives, and trading in general. And yeah, it's a very important service that needs to be provided, and if it's provided by such an established player, looks very good, so to say. And then regulators are very used to working with ICE. So if ICE are introducing cryptocurrencies, the communication between between the regulators and ICE, the ICE people should be very, I mean, business as usual. And then what this could also mean is that these corporate issuers can be attracted. And corporate issuers are, let's say, companies, legal persons, which basically provide, do IPOs, but not IPOs, let's call them ICOs. And so this is something that these types of issuers could be interested. And why are they interested in this? Or why could they be interested in this? It's because of all this below. So doing a token sale, initial coin offering, or some kind of a offering involving cryptocurrencies has many advantages. So no underwriters, no trustees, transfer agents, and so on and so on. And then on top of all of this, cryptocurrency trades settled instantly, which means that there is no counterparty risk. So this could be very interesting for companies which are going public, let's say, or are trying to raise capital to use cryptocurrencies and not do an ICO themselves, but use the ICE platform for these purposes. And this is, of course, huge. So why would you do an IPO when you can do an ICO on ICE? And this is all the good stuff, but then we go to the bad stuff. And the bad stuff, although there are a couple of things, it's actually one thing. All of this is one thing. And it's the fact that it's possible that in the intercontinental exchange, and due to the fact that they are very used to derivatives, more than 21 Bitcoins could appear on paper. So you know that Bitcoin is limited to 21 million, and this is protected by cryptography. But then if it comes to derivatives, you can create a market which is much larger than the original market. So it might turn out that there are promises of Bitcoins to like IOUs, so to say, that are more than 21 million. So basically this removes this limit on Bitcoins. And this is what some people in the sphere are very worried about. So because this is more or less a fractional reserve Bitcoin. So there's no limit on Bitcoins in the ICE ecosystem. And this comes also from the fact that nobody is actually auditing the custodians of these Bitcoins, which is very, very weird because the sphere is super regulated. But when it comes to somebody checking how many instances or units of something exists, this is not the case, which is, to me, because I was trying to understand, like, how is this possible in such a regulated market? But it turns out that it has happened before. It has happened to the gold market. It has happened to the market of silver, and also it has happened in some other, some kind of other market that was actually 10 times bigger when it comes to the derivatives market than the market itself. And it could go to much larger than this. So this is what people are worried about in the case of the ICE thing. So it's not a certainty; it might not happen, but it's quite it's possible, and it has happened for other instruments. So that's for the ICE. Then we go to the Goldman Sachs thing, and it's basically that Goldman Sachs are thinking of becoming, providing a service as a custodian of cryptocurrencies, which is, again, Goldman Sachs, very popular, very big in the financial world. So if they start providing these services, more and more institutional investors might go in. Actually, this was presented as information that isn't public, but it's super public. Everybody knows this, so I don't know why they're saying this. But there is no ETA, so there is no estimated time of availability of this service by Goldman Sachs. So it's not clear when they're going to provide it. But if it's not them, I think it's going to be somebody else. ICE also are thinking of doing this or are doing this. So this is another, just simply another company, another large company from the financial world that is going into cryptocurrencies, making them maybe more commercially popular or more commercial. And generally, this type of services, custodian services, could help ETFs, exchange traded funds, to be more acceptable by the Security Exchange Commission, which has already denied the creation of a few of those. And we're going actually to this topic, the topic of ETFs. The ETFs is a very interesting topic that has been around for some time, ever since the Yankov twins from Facebook tried to create the first ETF, didn't succeed, and actually got a couple of refusals by the SEC. And then this month, 9 other Bitcoin ETFs got disapproved by the SEC, but still the CBOE's Bitcoin ETF is on the let's say on the table, and the SEC have said that it's going to be, they will provide a decision on this I think it's October or September this year, 30th of September. So this is still on the table. Maybe they will be the first one which will succeed. There is a difference between the ones that got cancelled or denied and the CBOE's fund, and that is that those were future-based funds, so connected to derivatives, let's say. And the one that is by CBOEs is physically backed, which means that they're going to deal more with the OTC markets and try not to deal with leverage or derivative instruments, which are much more harder to envision how they're going to move and what's going to happen. So much more risky, so to say. And they're going to be providing, another positive thing, they'll be providing insurance, which is kind of a flexible insurance. First, it's up to 100 million, but then if something happens, might go up as well. So depending how much they have lost. So yeah, I'm not sure who is insuring them, but it's good that they have insurance. And ETFs, of course, are very, very important. I mean, similarly important to anything that happens related to crypto in the financial, in the big financial world. But they will provide, of course, access to cryptocurrencies by large institutional investors as well. So if this happens, it could be considered a very bullish sign. And that's all of these 3 things that I had to mention, which were considered as important topics during August. And this is what we have here for the price of Bitcoin for the different meetups, all of the meetups that we have done so far. And see it's going down. I mean, doesn't look too great, but the Ethereum's price is even, I mean, to me it looks much more funnier, because I think Ethereum is trying to tell us something. And and when I did this, I really, it was really funny. And it's just the price, the average price on the day on which Sofia Crypto Meetup has happened. But yeah, that's the funniest chart that I have seen so far during a meetup. So what we have next is Yasen from Paysafe, who will talk about the challenge of embracing cryptocurrencies in a enterprise setting, enterprise organization. But before that, I will give the floor to Svetlin Nakov, who wants to just say a few words about an interesting conference that they're going to organize with Softuni.
Hi everyone. I just want to mention one event we'll perform in 28th and 29th of September. It's called SoftUnit Conf, and it will be devoted partially on crypto and blockchain. We have 2 WAPs, two parallel sessions in 2 days. So I will spread through the group, through the organizers' promotion codes, because it's not free, but it will be something like 30 to 50 level, something like this. for this today. So all of you are invited, or you can open the site, or or it's not possible. Yeah. It will be something like 2,000 participants with speakers from all over the world, mostly from Sofia, of course, because we are better. And, and it will cover digital marketing and entrepreneurships. It will cover also software engineering and blockchain. These are the three main topics, and we'll have sessions and workshops and many others. So maybe that's all. It will be in the Paradise Mall. We have some speakers already announced, and until the end of the week we'll have some sessions announced. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so hello everybody. My name is Yasen. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I'm part of Paysafe, and today I want to talk about something very interesting and at the same time very sad. And it's like, you know, we have those companies called enterprise companies, and I've been involved in Bitcoin since 2011, and like I've been hearing all along questions from the type of when are like the big companies, the enterprise companies are going to actually embrace crypto, and when are they going to start integrating cryptocurrencies, build products around cryptocurrencies, and etc. So today I'm going to tell you the story of one of those companies. Basically, it's a company called Paysafe, which I work with, and we've started doing a lot of things crypto. But yeah, there was a lot of actually challenges. There are a lot of challenges, and I wanna speak about several of those. I'll go all the way from legal privacy, legal and data privacy, compliance and risk, operationally, and etc. So it will be everything, but technical and R&D. So sorry if somebody wants to for me to talk about technical challenges. So there's actually no technical challenge till now of what we do, but there are a lot of the others. So yeah. Again, like who am I? Currently, I'm product and engineering head and heading the cryptocurrency products in Paysafe into an organization called Digital Wallets. I'll talk about Paysafe a bit later. And pretty much prior to this, I've co-founded a company called Loanbase. It was a simple lending marketplace operating in 70 countries. I think we've issued a little bit more than $20 million worth of loans for a couple of years into the Bitcoin, like all into the Bitcoin ecosystem. And yeah, I'm pretty passionate about financial technology and products around financial technology. A little bit about Paysafe and how, like, what is Paysafe and how enterprisey are we actually? So the company is a little bit more, with a little bit more than 50 years history in financial services. So basically, currently we have two main business organizations, an organization called Digital Wallets and an organization called Payment Processing. So they're pretty much descriptive. They talk about itself pretty clearly, but for example, Digital Wallets, we have two products, very popular digital wallet products into the high-risk transactions, gambling, sports betting, now cryptocurrency trading, everything related to issuing e-money balance. And payment processing is basically our business department where we build tools, both hardware and software for processing payments. Currently we're a little bit more than 3,000 employees. I think the company has more than 30 mergers and acquisitions over the years. So basically for those a little bit more than 18 years, we've acquired or been acquired 30 times. A little bit more than 15 offices all over the globe. R&D and engineering is happening in I think 5 or 6 offices on 3 continents, so it's pretty enterprisey actually. But yeah, like I have something which I started calling the sign-off ratio, which means that it's a ratio which answers the question, how much sign-offs do you need in order to ship a bug to production? So how many people should you go and ask if I can go and ship something to production in my product. And in our company, there are a lot of sign-offs and a lot of people which you actually need to talk to in order to put code on production, like a lot, more than 10 or 15 or 20, imagine. And actually, how fast can you ship a hotfix to production? So here we're a lot better than the sign-off ratio. Usually we do it within the, say, 15 to 30 minutes, which means that those 10 people should answer in a matter of 15 to 30 minutes. So imagine that. And actually, how often do we release? I've been looking over enterprise organizations and how are they like build their release cycles around their products. Some do monthly, some do 3 months, some do, let's say, on a sprint of 2 weeks. So for us, it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit more than a week, like it's 2 weeks, basically, for us. And here's the MVP. Basically, what we've decided to build was a simple crypto wallet and exchange product within our digital wallets. We've started with Skrill. We wanted to add it to Neteller as well, but our initial MVP was a simple product doing 3 things: the ability to send and receive cryptocurrency, internal sends into digital wallets, and the ability for me as a customer of the wallet to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. We've ended up with something like this. So it's a simple page where you can buy and sell crypto. And I'll tell you about the challenges around how we started with a little bit bigger of a product and ended up with as simple as a single page of buying and selling, because basically we didn't have the ability to do the other thing yet. And yeah, that's overall the operational challenges and all the challenges we faced were the why we actually had this this product in the end. But why the MVP? Basically, we have over 10 fiat deposit options for, and that's for European Union alone, which means that people can actually deposit fiat currency into our wallet from 10 different places, or 10 different types of services, and they can buy crypto, which is actually a serious issue nowadays, because how many of you have issue to send money to an exchange and buy crypto? Yeah, so that's one of the biggest issues currently. We're providing over 100 currencies supported, which means that you can buy crypto against BGN, you can buy crypto against GBP, again, like Polish krona, etc., etc. So you can buy crypto against 100 currencies. And we know how to handle wallet customers, and we know how to handle e-money business. So that's why we've stopped into something similar to what we already had. And the process was quite simple. We've started spreading the word into our R&D teams. We've prepared like an MVP. Let's say either that would be a blockchain product versus a cryptocurrency product versus a wallet, or etc. We've spent some time figuring this out. And then, and I think that's what's very important to build a product into an enterprise organization is the top-to-bottom approach. Basically, you need to go to your CEO and say, hey, that's what we would like to build. What do you think about it? And if he or she doesn't buy it, then you're basically fucked. Like a very simple timeline. We started September 2017, started raising awareness into the company internally. March this year, we've started initial prototyping of MVP, and July, we've launched our initial MVP. So look, that's almost a year in order to build something so simple. And now the challenges. So I'll start with the C-level challenges. Basically, raising awareness over the C-level people. Like those are people who don't really care about what cryptocurrency is, and don't really care about the idea around crypto. What do they care about is how we can actually benefit, how we can make our product better. Is it somehow connected to our other product lines? And of course, what are the revenue models? Like, can we raise our revenues? How easy for us would be to be compliant, because it's very, very important for us as an enterprise company to be compliant, and etc. So yeah, raising awareness and basically asking those type of questions which are very non-crypto is trivial. And here we had, I think one of the most frequently asked questions from all of the stakeholders into the company was this cryptocurrency thing. On an operational perspective, again, raising awareness. People like nonstop are asking, what's crypto? Why are we going to build this cryptocurrency exchange thing? Like, how can we benefit on that? Like, are we going to be able to use it or not, and etc. So, raising awareness again and some kind of introduction into the crypto world was very, very much of a challenge. And that was something which we were doing on a daily basis, several times a day, explaining one and the same thing about what is crypto, why do you need to have crypto into your products, and etc. and etc. Figuring out how we need to expand our know your customers policies, and should we add any limits? For example, if I need to exchange crypto, should I be able to exchange for 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, or for 500 euro, for example? That was quite challenging. And of course, aligning with an exchange partner, because the way we've built this is integrating an exchange partner, one of the most popular exchanges into the crypto world, in order to leverage our exchange functionality and make it a single click. And yeah, like the frequently asked questions like, how does this work? Sorry, could you remind me how is this about to work? And then you explaining and explaining and explaining once again and again. And then you have the question at the end of the call, which was, let's say, an hour and a half, and then like the final question is, sorry, what was that crypto trading thing? And you start again, basically. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that the story is sad. So here we started facing a lot of operational issues. With our exchange provider, for example. We wanted, if you remember the initial MVP, we wanted to have the ability to send and receive to external wallets. We started integrating, figuring out what the exchange would be, and then at some point the exchange said, you know what, there's this small detail you cannot send and receive. And we're like, why? They're like, we need to integrate and share our KYC. Like, if you have a customer, we need to know who this customer is. And now we don't have the ability to do that, so you basically you'll not be able to send and receive in the next year. And of course, a very quick dry run over the other exchanges started asking the same question, answered us that nobody is actually providing that. So there's no institutional exchange which actually gives the ability for a merchant to send and receive crypto on behalf of their customers. So there's no such thing yet. We have, as I've mentioned, we have, let's say, 15 or 20 deposit providers, including variety depending on a country. For example, for Bulgaria, we have ePay. For Germany, we have Zofort, et cetera, et cetera. And we needed to start negotiating how are we going to include their money traffic, their money processing into the new crypto product. Because, you know, we started building it, and then Zofort emailed us and said, you know what, we don't want any deposits which we do and your customers do with Zofort to be linked to crypto at all. And then this thing happened 10 more times with any other single provider. Like, any single provider basically contacted us and say, if you do crypto, we don't want to do business with you. And yeah, basically, I'll share you in a quick sentence how we figured this out a bit later. But this meant for us that we need to descope the send and receive from the product. So currently, you're still not able to send and receive your crypto. You own it, but like, good luck, go to explain to your customers that they own something which they cannot send and receive. All right, going to the legal and data privacy. So here's very simple. Like, signing a contract into an enterprise organization is extremely hard. It's so hard that we finalized the contract 1 day prior to the official launch. So we have marketing campaigns, we have a million of people who were waiting for it, and we didn't have a contract. Like, all the software was working, but the contract was not signed. And it's not signed for a very specific reason. You have this big enterprise organizations which want to make sure that the contract is the best contract in the world, and there is on the safest place on the planet. And at the same time, you have a Bitcoin exchange, which say, you know what, we don't care about all this, right? I mean, let's just sign it and go over. And we're like, oh no, that doesn't work that way. You cannot do that. But yeah, I mean, we've signed it like a day prior to the launch. And yeah, all those exchanges, currently we've been using pretty much the most mature crypto exchange from an institutional perspective. They're still not very clear into their B2B policies. They don't know how to organize a contract. For example, a very simple one, like we've contracted Bitstamp. Bitstamp are an institutional exchange from 8 years. And they said, you know, we don't have an institutional contract. And they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, you know what, you just create your personal account and then you start doing traffic through it. And you're like, yeah, and you're doing 20 million of buys and sells through a personal account, right? And they're like, yeah, of course. So yeah, that's still the case in crypto. And yeah, we've negotiated the contracts for like 3 months of time. And I think we've made at least that was what I had on my laptop. We had 12 versions. The version 12 was the final version of the final of the final, which we've signed. Security. As an enterprise organization, we have something called Informational Security Department, which are a bunch of people who are very keen on security. They know a lot about security, about SLAs, availability, etc. And they have this small questionnaire of about 160 questions, which every single exchange needs to fill, right? Because we want to be on a safe place. And yeah, basically that's hard when you're a crypto exchange and basically you don't want to do this. So it was extremely hard to go with the provider and just fill the questionnaire. At the end, we filled the questionnaire with them, but it was like a challenge. And another thing was like a very simple technical problem from a security perspective is how to securely connect to an exchange. For example, some exchanges use AWS. They cannot provide like some kind of a VPN or a network where you can just go and make sure that you're not on the internet when you're talking to them, and etc. So that's something which again would be a challenge. And of course the SLAs. In the MVP, basically, we had initially almost no SLA agreement. So people, exchanges say that, yeah, we have 99.99% availability and that's happening over the time, but we don't want to pay fees if we don't cover this, right? So it's something which you basically cannot go with. You need to trust them, but you cannot put it on a contract and make sure that somebody's like available when they say that they're available. Yeah, so SLA is an availability agreement, basically service license agreement, which says that if I want to sign an SLA with you, it means that you provide some kind of guarantees about the availability of the service. Risk and compliance. So the challenges which we faced here were pretty much around fraud, how we deal with fraud. If people start remembering the MVP, we have this peer-to-peer internal sense. If people would go and send money into the wallet, not outside, but into the infrastructure of the wallet, is this a fraudulent event? Like what they can do, like can there be some kind of fraud? So we've started figuring this out with our risk specialists. We've limited the sense almost to zero. On the initial, the risk appetite was so low that they basically said us, please remove it for now. Let's just see what kind of people are using the service, and at the same time figure out who our customers are and probably add it on a later stage. So we just scoped it. Yeah, the scope did the P2P sense because of that. And we needed to go to the Financial Conduct Authority, which is an organization, it's a regulatory organization into the UK, which we're regulated under as an enterprise company. We needed to go and say a letter of intent that we're about to do this cryptocurrency thing. And what do they think about it? Like, should we do that or we cannot do that? Or like, what's happening? And basically, they've never send anything. The good thing is that into their statement on their website, they say that if they don't send you something into 28 days, then it's okay. You can go whatever and like do whatever you like. So they've never sent anything. So yeah, basically those are like literally all kind of challenges which we faced from a product perspective into all like the stakeholding into an enterprise organization. And I want to talk a bit about what's next. So basically we're adding all those back, hopefully. We'll be doing peer-to-peer sense, wallet functionality, spending with prepaid cards, token and issuing stable coins. And at the same time, we have a single team to work on all this yet. So this will not happen instantly, as you imagine. But yeah, bear with us. Questions, and thank you all. Sorry, prior to the questions, I just want to add something into the, something similar to what Svetlin said. So we're organizing this thing called a blockchain hackathon. It's free, it's super cool. There's this thing called QR code, so you can scan it, which will lead you to the Facebook event, and you can join us. The first prize are 5,000 BGN, 5,000 USD in tokens, so feel free to come if you're doing any kind of engineering related to crypto or blockchain. Yeah, it's 10,000, sorry. Good remark. And question again.
Thanks for the presentation. I think I can help you with the exchange thing. I used to work at an exchange, and I helped.
Guys, I'm finding pretty hard time to hear the guy here. Sorry, guys.
I said thanks for the presentation, and I worked at an exchange, and I helped companies like yours do exactly what you're trying to do multiple times. So I can put you in contact with the guys, and I'm sure they can help you out if you don't already have someone. And then the second thing is...
I love those kind of questions.
The second thing is, you mentioned your company is pretty open and upfront about being crypto related. Who are you using as a bank? Who is your bank? Because
bank. Yeah, of course. So the first question was not actually a question, but this lovely guy mentioned that he works in a crypto company and he can help us leverage and face all the challenges which we already faced and figure it out somehow. And actually the other question was who's the bank which we're using. So currently for the EU we're using Sparkasse Malta. It's a bank in Malta, pretty popular into the crypto space. We're trying to figure out some bank in the US. We currently don't have the service running into the US for our US customers. So I cannot disclose because I'm really not aware yet. But yeah, Sparkasse Malta is what we're using now.
Thanks.
Very insightful presentation and a lot of learning. So it was really like how to do a crypto stuff in enterprise. I really like the fact that you said that now there are many companies who basically allow you to buy crypto like Revolut, but you don't own crypto. They're like holding it in an exchange. You cannot sell and receive. And I for first time understood why.
Yeah,
basically because of the shared KYC.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is a workaround? How difficult is to do this shared KYC?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So, like, I know what's happening currently. I don't know if I can disclose it, but I know that there's some initiatives happening around exchanges in order to build an API for sharing the KYC, integrating with popular KYC providers like Jumio, Onfiro, and etc. Because that will actually mean that if you verify on exchange 1, that it's kind of you're like automatically verified into exchange 2, 3, and etc. But that's early.
This can actually be make it or break it for mass adoption. Because now it's super painful for everyday user to buy. And like the other day, we gave as a present crypto to some guys who get married, and it was really painful. I was like forgetting how painful it is. And yeah, basically that's it. So that's a very interesting point. But
so
yeah, cheers.
I like my understanding about the crypto and how you actually embrace crypto into the masses is that you have these 3 pain points. So the first one is shared KYC, the second one is shared money in and money out, and the third one is answering the question, what the fuck is crypto, right?
Okay, one question from me. Is there any difference between normal and decentralized exchanges in this manner? KYC and is it going to be easier if you work with decentralized exchange for this?
So my understanding is that if you go into this decentralized matter of work, you don't really care about that. At the same time, you have those authorities called regulators, which are like afraid of not knowing like who are you doing business with and who you are, which is actually issuing the business, right? So there'll definitely be some kind of an advantage if you have a stable, decentralized way of buy and sell. The model is a bit different because you cannot, obviously when it's decentralized, you cannot do instant transactions, which is very, let's say, core kind of functionality for doing exchange. Like, and here I think it's either you want to do this super fast way of exchanging, or you want to do super anonymous way of exchanging, or like decentralized way of exchanging, so that you cannot deal with the authorities. And it's up to the company or the service. For enterprises, that's I don't think I can even talk about this in my company now.
So my question, I have a question, and yeah. Do you have any contacts with Bulgarian authorities? Do you have to have contact with Bulgarian authorities or Bulgarian, let's say, financial institutions or banks? Because we know that banks here in Bulgaria don't like cryptocurrencies. So if you have a local banking partner, how did they look at the crypto initiative?
So I'm not sure for Bulgaria. So we were regulated into the UK, and basically into the UK you have the FCA, which have this statement of a case-by-case approving of what you're gonna do. Of course, it's not just a matter of a week or two in order to provide this letter, because they need a pretty solid legal explanation about what you're actually building. And I think the banks are pretty much at the same. They're at the same position. Like it's not that they don't like crypto. It's that they don't like immature companies. And honestly, like most of us into crypto, we're still in these early days, and they struggle, and we all struggle to fill all the policies, like be compliant with all the policies, and etc. So from this perspective, I think it's similar in Bulgaria as it's in UK, and it's still all over the world. Is it that I guess if there are a lot more enterprises which are somehow clearing the path, then banks will start like dealing with smaller companies as well. I think for Bulgaria, I'm not aware, to answer your question, I'm not aware of any financial authority or regulator which we need to contact, because we don't do business here. But obviously it would be very good to have one. But yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you have some difficulties with companies that didn't have anything to do with you if you dealt with cryptocurrency. And yeah, how did you figure it out?
Yeah, I've promised to explain those. Yeah, so our CEO started calling their CEOs, basically.
Okay. More questions? Anyone? Everything's super clear.
Thank you once again, guys.
All right, so thank you very much then. And actually, we don't have anything else. Maybe, I don't know, something about Bitcoin Cash, if you want to say a few words about the tokens on Bitcoin Cash. And we can finish with that nice topic.
So there is this new thing in Bitcoin Cash called wormhole, which is a second layer solution introduced, well, not so much introduced, but supported a lot by Bitmain. And it basically works with separate tokens. The idea is that people can burn Bitcoin Cash tokens, sending them to an unreclaimable address, and get 100 wormhole tokens. But this thing also brought many controversies, and currently a lot of changes are proposed that would support wormhole. Sorry, is this better? Okay, should I go back? Did you hear me, or from the start? Okay, so there is this thing, Wormhole Cash, which is a second layer protocol over Bitcoin Cash for supporting smart contracts, just like in Ethereum, with fully Turing complete, and tokens. The way to get the token for the wormhole cache is by burning Bitcoin Cash tokens, by sending them to an invalid address, to an unreclaimable address. And also for the November hard fork planned by the ABC node, which is the most popular node for Bitcoin Cash, some changes are proposed that would support wormhole, but at the same time they're very controversial and many people oppose them. So yeah, this is getting political.
So I guess you can do an ICO on Bitcoin Cash now. Ah, okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so that was all, guys. Yeah, we can mingle. Thank you for coming.